Ahoy there, and welcome aboard for today's deep dive. We're going to be looking at boat living, specifically ditching the 9 to 5 and living on the water. And we're going to be looking at this through a really interesting lens. This ebook called Buying a Live Aboard Boat on a Shoestring Budget is not your typical how-to guide. It's a personal story about someone who traded their cubicle for a cozy cabin.
It's fascinating how many people dream of alternative living,
Yeah.
wanting to be closer to nature and to escape the ordinary. The story is a real window into that change.
Right. So the person in this story, they start out feeling stuck in the office. Like, that feeling when the clock just seems to be moving so slowly,
Yeah.
and you just wish you were anywhere but at your desk.
Yeah, that desire for something more, a life that's less ordinary. So many people can relate to that. And in this case, it was a sailing trip that changed everything for this person. Just one trip on the open water, and suddenly spreadsheets and meetings just didn't seem all that appealing anymore.
Yeah. And get this, they didn't just dream about it, they actually did it. Bought a boat. An older trawler, maybe a little rough around the edges, but with a ton of potential. Trawlers are great for a live-aboard life. They're sturdy and have all that space inside. I can imagine the excitement mixed with a bit of, what have I gotten myself into?
Hmm. It's that moment when you make the leap from dreaming to doing. And the story captures this so well, describing weekends spent cleaning, fighting rust and mold, turning this boat into a real living space. It's that whole DIY spirit, that satisfaction that comes with creating a home with your own two hands.
There's this great part where they talk about painting the cabin walls, and like they even took some selfies. It's that sense of pride that comes with transforming this boat into a personal sanctuary. It really shows how important it is to have a space that reflects who you are, even if that space happens to float.
Totally. Imagine waking up on the deck with a cup of coffee, the sun rising over the water, the gentle rocking of the boat. You hear seagulls instead of traffic. Such a change from the usual routine.
Talk about a change of pace. But this isn't just about beautiful mornings. It's a completely different way of life. The person in the story starts to explore nearby islands. Solo trips filled with swimming in hidden coves and soaking up the sun. They even talk about getting a really bad sunburn because they forgot a hat. It's a good reminder that even paradise has its hiccups.
Exactly. It
Mhm.
shows that adventures come in different forms. Sometimes the best moments are the unplanned ones.
Right. But it's not all about solo exploration. Our boat dweller discovers this amazing sense of community at the marina. There's this part in the book where they talk about a potluck dinner on the docks. Everyone comes together to share food and stories. It's like an instant extended family, connected by a love for the water and a willingness to lend a helping hand.
That sense of community is essential to the live aboard lifestyle. You're surrounded by people who get the unique joys and challenges of living on a boat, and they are always there to help you out or give advice.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of advice, our protagonist finds a sailing mentor at a local club named Sarah. Sarah basically takes them under her wing, teaching them everything she knows about sailing. They even say they feel like a pirate captain now.
That's awesome. It really shows how important mentorship can be when you're learning something new. Having someone guide you can build your confidence and make all the difference.
It's like learning to ride a bike, but with sails and the open ocean ahead of you. Very empowering.
Right. And the learning never stops. The story mentions how navigation skills are still a work in progress, reminding us there's always something new to learn on the water.
For sure. But let's be real. Boat life isn't always easy. There's this powerful description of a really bad storm in the book. Our protagonist is in their bunk, wind howling outside, waves crashing against the whole boat rocking violently.
Yeah, that's where your resilience gets tested. Facing your fears, trusting in your preparation, weathering the storm both literally and metaphorically. It reminds us that we often grow the most by overcoming those tough challenges.
Absolutely. And they make it through. They remember something an old sailor told them, trust your boat. And they do.
Yeah.
They ride out the storm and wake up to a new day.
It's such a powerful feeling knowing you can handle anything. It's about building resilience, trusting your instincts, and finding strength in the face of adversity. Those skills are valuable on land and at sea.
That storm sounded terrifying, a real test of courage. But life on a boat, just like life anywhere, isn't always about huge storms. Sometimes it's just about, the everyday things, like how do you cook in a tiny kitchen that's always moving?
It makes you think, right? Limited space, limited supplies. You can't exactly pop over to the store when you need something.
Right, exactly.
But that's also what makes it so creative. In the book, they talk about turning their little kitchen into a personal lab, using fresh ingredients from local markets, sometimes even catching their own food. They learn to use a pressure cooker to save fuel and time. even figured out how to preserve herbs and vegetables.
Wow. So cooking on a boat is like its own challenge.
Absolutely. And there's a real sense of accomplishment when you create something delicious in those conditions, especially from scratch.
And speaking of delicious, they actually talk about catching and eating their own fish, that feeling of being a provider.
Yeah. Self-sufficiency.
Exactly. And then enjoying that fresh caught meal. That must be amazing. Have you ever caught your own dinner?
Can't say I have, but I can imagine it's pretty satisfying, that connection to where your food comes from. It's something we've kind of lost touch with.
Totally. But boat life isn't all fishing and cooking. There's also the whole adapting to nature thing. The book describes how the seasons change. Summer's energy fades into the quiet beauty of fall. And then you have the stark but stunning winter landscape.
Yeah, the seasons, that's a huge part of boat living. It changes your mindset. You have to adjust to nature instead of trying to control it. Imagine waking up to snow-covered boats all huddled together.
Like frosted cakes. I love that image.
Right, it's peaceful. But winter on a boat, it's not all beautiful scenery.
Of course not. What are some of the challenges?
Well, you have to get the boat ready for the cold, make sure you have enough supplies. It's a whole other set of skills. Being prepared and adaptable is key.
So boat living really makes you more resourceful.
Totally. And you have to be. There's a great story in the book about the engine failing while they were out on the water.
Oh, no.
Yeah, scary stuff. They describe feeling panicked at first, stranded. But they take a deep breath, remember their training, and start trying to fix it.
That makes sense. You'd panic too.
Right. But what matters is what you do next. They pull out the boat manual, check wires, and they actually figure it out. It was a loose wire, something they never would have thought to check before.
That must have felt incredible, solving it on their own.
Exactly. It's empowering. It's that feeling of, I can handle anything. And it's not just about boats. It's about trusting your gut, thinking things through, and finding solutions. Those are important skills no matter where you are.
So we've talked about boat cooking, adapting to the seasons, and that feeling of self-reliance. It seems like our protagonists traded a predictable life for one filled with adventure, new skills, and a deeper connection with nature. But what about the bigger picture? What can we, the listeners, take away from all this, even if we aren't ready to live on a boat?
You know, that's a great question, and I think we're going to explore that very question after a quick break, so stay tuned.
We've seen how our boat dwellers traded their old routine for this life of sunsets and storms and self-sufficiency.
It's easy to romanticize boat living, but like we've been talking about, it's not always easy. Lots of challenges. Things break unexpectedly. You have to be ready for anything nature throws at you.
Yeah. So why do people choose this lifestyle? Why trade the comfort of living on land for all this uncertainty?
It's about that desire for a simpler life, you know, a more intentional life. It's about letting go of expectations and figuring out what really matters. Waking up to the sounds of the water instead of an alarm clock. Spending your days exploring and your evenings with people who get it. I mean, how would that change your perspective?
Sounds pretty freeing, like hitting the reset button on life.
Right. And that's what happened in the book. They went from feeling stuck to feeling empowered, connected to their world, trading the daily grind for a life of purpose and adventure.
And those amazing sunsets.
Mm.
But this story is also about community, like that potluck dinner they talked about, that sense of belonging, finding your people in a totally unexpected place.
Yeah, it's important, especially today when things can feel so isolating. It reminds us that we need each other, sharing experiences, helping each other out, even laughing together when the pasta salad goes wrong.
I love that they mentioned the pasta salad. Those little details make the story so relatable. It's a reminder that even in this different lifestyle, life is still about the simple things. Good food, good company, and good stories.
Exactly. Happiness isn't about stuff or your job title. It's about finding joy in everyday moments, the connections we make, and the challenges we overcome.
So, as we finish our deep dive into boat living, what can we, the listeners, take away? What can we learn from this person who dared to do things differently?
The biggest takeaway: embracing a different path, even in small ways, can change everything. It's about knowing what matters to you, what makes you happy, and finding ways to bring those things into your life. Maybe it's simplifying your routine, trying new things, or connecting with your community. Maybe it's just taking a walk in nature and appreciating the beauty around you.
It's about finding your own freedom, whatever that means for you.
That's it. It's about challenging the norm, questioning things, and creating a life that reflects your values.
Great point. And with that, we're wrapping up our deep dive. But keep thinking about this. What do you want to simplify in your life? What adventures are you missing out on? And how can you build stronger connections with the people around you? Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.